brake servicing, and the piston will be replaced. I think probably the most risky prospect in this is removing the bleed nipple, because these are made of brass and this is aluminium. The body is aluminium alloy, and removing the nipple can well, it can break off and then the caliper is destroyed. So you can use a little bit of heat, but if you use excessive amounts, it will create fractures within the aluminium alloy, which again, then your caliper is toast. So we'll see how this goes. And I was lucky with all of them. Just a little heat. The only acceptable standard for motorcycle brakes is that they work perfectly. And these will be getting new pistons and seals and brake lines, HEL brake lines. But just to point out, it's like there are easier ways than this. This is as bad as they get, with galvanic corrosion just around the outside, with the steel of the brake piston meets the body of the caliper. So to get them out, I don't use any specialist tools. The key is to get them turning. So smash them out, because I knew I had brake pistons available at £20 each. So I didn't really care about the condition of these, and so knock them out with a drift, just a hammer and screwdriver, using the lip here, which is for the dust seal. And so just if you can knock them out a little bit, it'll break the galvanic corrosion. Then you'll be able to get a big tool on them and turn them. And once they start turning, you can pull them out. By getting a hammer on the tool. But amazingly, you can get replacement calipers and tire calipers. They aren't original, so I'll be keeping these. These are actually really good. So if you want really high performance brake calipers on any Yamaha bike, use blue spot calipers. You have to identify the correct size. So the only difference is that the hangers for the front brakes, right and left, are different. Otherwise, these are identical calipers. Yeah. These calipers have been cleaned out. I just used hot soapy water plus a what they call a heat gun, but in fact it's just a little hobbyist thing, not really any stronger than a powerful hairdryer. New pistons and seal sets and dust seal also in those. Dust seals and then dust seals. So these are the lines I'll be using. These are HEL brake lines. So it costs about more than 10 times what you could pay for some cheap random eBay ones. But as far as I'm concerned, these are the gold standard. Tested to 1700 psi apparently, 1500 psi. And they randomly take a batch and test one of them to 15 to 60 to 17,000 psi. So these are non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. For some further lubrication and to top up the brake fluid. So I now have razor sharp brakes. These are as good as the standard brakes will ever get. So with the HEL brake lines, and everything is bled. Just to explain my method with these, people use various methods. My method, I do use a syringe. Now it's not for reverse bleeding, but actual reverse feeding. So to explain, the master cylinder the reservoir rather is topped up with new brake fluid, and after that I use a G-clamp to hold the piston in the brake caliper in place quite tightly, so it's closed, and then I bleed. So where this comes in, release the G-clamp and put this in through the bleed nipple. You'll see the piston come out a fair amount, as well as the fluid level go down in the reservoir. So following that, I put the G-clamp back on, tighten up the bleed nipple, and put a little bit of pressure, not too much. I'm not trying to blow the seals, brand new seals, perfect seals. But put a bit of pressure on it, and immediately you'll see a lot of bubbles come up through the reservoir. A lot of bubbles. And it will actually look colloidal. There'll be so much air in the system. And bleed it again with pressure on the G-clamp once again, the classic way, once the caliper is fitted to the rotor. So it has two calipers on the front, and the way I deal with that, G-clamp on one of them, bleed the other when it's applied against the rotor, and then switch over to the other side. So if that makes sense, bleeding one at a time with the caliper off the bike, but all attached, with one caliper off the bike, and with the G-clamp on it, so that the caliper doesn't push out, and then bleed the opposite one. So obviously the rear is slightly easier. So yeah, very happy.